This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Success Mentorship class number 270. Wow. And our topic for today is reimagine your life. Reimagine your life. As you know, our topics are really taken a lot from our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, and from the vibrations we feel in the universe. So often when we look at our topics, I think things happen to all of us. Many of us may be in a challenging period. Many of us may be in a victorious period. And so today's topic is really in reimagining your life. It's about how to transform what is right now into what it needs to be. One of the tools that I invite you to try and to use effectively is our success toolbox. Many people who are at the point that we are right now in this year are at a point where they need the tools to transform their lives from what it is to exactly what they want it to be. So once again, visit our website, herbertharris.com, www.herbertharris.com, and click on the Success Toolbox, everything you need to get anything you want. So let us get centered now so that we can prepare for our journey this morning. Sit straight up in your seat. Close your outer eyes and open your inner eyes. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Let that peace sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this state of peace and relaxation, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. You know, Success Mentorship class number 270. The topic today is reimagine your life. And the reason that we've taken this topic is we're right now at the end of the first third of the year. This applies at any time, but just I wanted to put us in a date-specific environment. We are right now a third of the year. 4 months have passed us. And we're now getting into the second third of the year, heading towards the halfway mark. And this is truly a time to assess our progress to date and to make adjustments for how we want it to be, so that at the end of this year, we will experience that we say we want. Muhammad Ali had a beautiful quote, and he said, "The man who has no imagination has no wings." And so when we talk about reimagining our lives, is what must we do to create the wings on which we can fly to our purpose? So at this moment, at this point in the year, welcome Dawn, welcome Kenya. We have a whole group. Jody, thanks on Instagram. Those on Facebook, thanks for joining us. So we're at the point this year where we need to assess where we are to address the things that we need to change. Mary Pickford said, it's never too late to make a new beginning. So the point now is wherever we are right now. Now, I'm sure that there's some of us that are ecstatic about our progress to date. We look at what we've accomplished and we are saying, wow, we're doing it. There's some of us, though, that are not excited about where we are right now. And we're looking at where we are saying, I got to do better. And the beauty of Mary Pickford's quote is that the moment you make a decision to do better, you can create a new beginning, because the moment you create a new beginning, you have already programmed a new ending. So right now, the question to ask is, am I where I want to be? Am I doing the things I want to do? Do I have what I want to have? And when we start doing this type of analysis, and for those of you who are really serious about transforming your life and making this year your year for outrageous success, I truly recommend that you go and you get our success toolbox, herbertharris.com, because a part of that toolbox is an assessment process to help you assess where you are, address the changes you need to make new plans, and then create an action plan to get things done. Welcome, Lundy, one of my classmates. Thanks for joining us on Instagram. And so when we look at where we are right now, we may not be happy. We may not be excited about it. We may look at where we are right now and say, wow, I certainly could have done better. I sure need to change. There's something I need to do to transform my life from what it is to what I want it to be. And it is at these points that we often hear people say, you need to think out of the box. And I always wonder, what does that mean, think out of the box? Well, first, what is the box? And the box is your present state of being. The box is your present condition. So if right now, with this portion of the year already completed, your box might be one of discontent. And man, I did not accomplish the things I wanted to do. I don't have the money I wanted. My health is not where I want it to be. I'm still in a bad relationship. So your box that you're in right now is a result of your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, and your relationships. So then how do you get out of the box? When you think about that, that's a good question. If you are where you are right now because of your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, and your relationships, then how do you change that? Because these are the very thoughts that brought you to where you are. And this is where the power of imagination comes. The only way to get out of your box is through the power of your imagination. There's a section in chapter 3 in the Law of Vision on page 80. And I want to delve and read a bit from the book because it's important that we really get a clear picture of this imagination, because imagination is one of your most powerful tools to create the life you desire. From page 80, imagination is your power to form mental images of things, of something not present to the senses. So wherever you are right now, whatever your condition is right now, good, bad, or indifferent, your imagination is your power to see beyond your circumstances to your potential. Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the whole world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. Your imagination is the connecting link between your own human consciousness and the universal consciousness, the God mind. Through your imagination, the formless energy of the universal mind becomes the formed universe in your own mind, and thus your life experience. So through your imagination, you are able to channel the energy of the universe into your specific life to get specific results. Your power of imagination is used to see beyond the appearances of your present situation to the possibilities of who you really are and what you are about. As you do all that you can to realize the vision you have of yourself, you must appeal to higher consciousness through your imagination to raise your energy level, to raise your level of vibration. Because, you know, the formula E equals MC squared, energy equals manifestation mass times the speed of light squared. So therefore manifestation, and manifestation is the life that you're experiencing right now. Manifestation depends on your level of vibration, depends on your energy. So now imagination can become the blueprint to create your new future. So when we say reimagine your life, we're really saying use imagination now in a new and better way. Your imagination is the blueprint for your house. A house built without a blueprint is going to be a terrible house. You know, Sandra and I travel a lot. And when we ride along, Sandra can look at houses on the side of the road. And she said, that house was built by an architect with a blueprint. And she'll look at another and she said, that house was just built. You know, in the country, the parents would give their son or daughter some land and they'd go build a house. And often they built the house by bringing the relatives and friends, and they sort of built that thing without a plan, without a blueprint. You can tell it when you look at the house and you see how it sort of evolves. You get another child, you add a room on the side. You know, you get a little extra money, you put a second floor in. But what you can see from the outside is it just evolved based on circumstances. That's the key point. Is your life evolving based on circumstances, or is it evolving because of design? And that's why the imagination is so powerful, because through your imagination, you can create a blueprint for your life that you can live exactly the way you want it to be. So how do you do this? How do you get above the circumstances, your present situation, to the reality of your possibilities? How do you get from, and you know, I guarantee many of us, I'm not happy with where I am. And really and truly, nobody should be happy with where you are. You should always have that vibration of growth, that there's always something better. I love that song. There's always something up there beyond the sky. So what is the step, the formula to help you reimagine your life, to help you apply your imagination in a new and better way? There's 7 steps. Step number 1, think a new thought. Think a new thought based on your imagination. You know, we may look at our lives the way it is right now and say, man, this sucks. You may be so involved with fighting the alligators of life, the rent, the mortgage, your situation, your job, that you can't see beyond that. You're so busy fighting the alligators that you can't see beyond the swamp. You're so busy fighting the alligators, you can't drain the swamp. If you drain the swamp, you can create a new thought. Swampland, that land is probably very fertile. And so if you can imagine the swamp to be drained and see a new thought of that, you might see a land, your house, how you now have the beautiful trees around your house. So this idea of thinking a new thought, thinking a bigger picture. So go from the thoughts of lack and limitation to thoughts of abundance. Goes from thoughts of sickness to thoughts of health. So this step 1, to reimagine your life, to take the thoughts and focus on the positive thoughts. There's a beautiful book, was it Vincent Peale wrote a book, The Power of Positive Thinking. That when you can think on positive thoughts, good thoughts, that's the foundation. The first law of success says, a mind shall have whatsoever it thinks in its heart. The second law of success says, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind, so you can change your condition by changing your thinking. So when you begin to reimagine your life, to reimagine the thoughts, you can now replace those negative thoughts or limitation thoughts with possibility thoughts, thoughts of abundance, thoughts of good health, thoughts of good relationships. So reimagine your life by using your imagination to see new thoughts. Step 2, imagine new feelings. Reimagine your life so that you can now see new feelings. You know, that's a very interesting point, because people often say, well, Doc, how do you imagine new feelings? What do you do to imagine new feelings? And one of the keys to imagining new feelings is to remember your passion. Remember the things that used to excite you, that used to just get you so excited that you could not wait to get busy. Think about life when you were younger. You know, when we were young, as young people, we were at a point where we actually thought that nothing was impossible. As a young person, that, you know, I love talking with especially kids in that elementary school and early middle school. Like, what do you want to be? I want to be a fireman. I want to be an astronaut. And they'll try anything. I remember as a kid jumping off the roof. I was convinced I could fly. And I was right. I could fly. But landing was problematic. Okay. But when you imagine new feelings, you center your life of passion on the things you want to be, the things you want to do, and the feelings associated with it. I would recommend that at this point in the year, make a list of the things you're excited about. You know, as you spend this time fighting the alligators of life, you forget about how that environment could be if there were no alligators. And so make a list of the things you're excited about and remind yourself, now, you know what? I really, really wanted to do this. I really, really wanted to get a degree. I really, really wanted to read this book. I really wanted to go see the pyramids of Egypt. When you can rekindle your feelings, you really have created a great power. So make a list of the things that you're excited about and revisit that list. We used to do a seminar, and one of the exercises in our seminar was, imagine what your life would be if money was no object and you knew you could not fail. So in other words, your life would be exactly what you want it to be. There were no impediments. There were no obstacles. So get back to that feeling of invincibility, that you could do anything. Step 3, imagine new goals. Now, let me tell you something, folks. Every success course that you've taken tells you have to have goals. When we started this year, those of you who've been on this journey with us, the early part of this year and the end of last year, we spent time laying out the goals. What are your goals for this year? What do you have to do to make this year your year for outrageous, incredible success? We said, write them down. Well, as you at this point in this year, if you're reassessing assessing your progress to date, and we say, examine your goals now and set new goals, guess what? If you didn't have any goals, that's why you are where you are. If you wrote the goals in January and filed them away, that's where you are But on the other hand, if you followed, every success book tells you this: read your goals over at least 3 times a day. Read them and feel how your life would be if your goal was realized. Now, if you've been doing that, I think that you're going to have, when you assess where you are right now, you're like, I'm doing okay. I just got to do more. Everything I'm doing is right on time. Let me just do more, better. But if you didn't write your goals, think about this, folks. Can you remember what you did last Thursday? If you made a list of things to do for last Thursday, you could at least go back to the list and say, I did this. You look at the things you crossed off. But if you had no list of what you did last Thursday, chances are you can't revisualize what you accomplished. And so this step of re-examining your goals is critical. So go back to your bucket list. If you don't have your goals written out, if you hadn't done it, it's okay. As Mayor Pickford said, you can always make a new beginning. So start now, this moment, today, when we finish this program, sit down and write your goals. Get into chapter 3 of the 12 Universal Laws of Success and look at the process for writing smart goals, specific goals, measurable goals, set in advance, realistic, cover a certain time period. So you don't have to beat yourself on the head. If you haven't done any of these things, start now today. One of the things I say about goals as you're moving along is to be committed to baby steps. Doc, what do you mean baby steps? The moment you set your goals and reimagine your goals for this year, break them down into baby steps, because if you're not where you are, where you wanted to be right now, chances are you have not been operating in a most efficient and effective manner. And one of the ways to undermine your progress is to try to do too much and then get frustrated. So take some baby steps. Once you've done your new goals to get you on track for this year, take baby steps. Kenya Crooks is on the line, and Kenya's a personal trainer. And you don't walk in and snatch jerk 250 pounds. You don't jump down and do 46 push-ups. But if you start with 1 and say, I did 1, and tomorrow I'll do 2, and the next day I'll do 3, over time you can do that. You can snatch jerk 200 pounds or 250 pounds. You can do 46 push-ups. And so I caution you that as you do this redefining of your goals for the rest of the year, commit to baby steps and follow those little steps. And as you take the baby steps, you'll go stronger. Number 4, commit to a timeline. Now, folks, this is where the rubber hits the road. Because if you don't commit to a timeline, then any time is okay. And if any time is okay, that means no time works. You know, on your success journey, you can do it full time, or you can do it part time, but you can't do it sometime. Once you commit to a timeline, you see, the timeline is what transforms a wish into a goal. The difference between a wish and a goal is time. I want to be rich. That's a wish. I want to be rich in 5 years. That's a goal. I want to be healthy. That's a wish. I want to eat better. I want to get 8 hours sleep. I want to exercise. That's a goal. So the moment you commit a timeline to it, of all the things today, writing your goals and committing a timeline, you have now set a framework for you to get things done. You see, the law of manifestation is always couched in the river of time. And the river of time is such that if you do not do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, the river keeps on moving. Work from a schedule. If there's one takeaway from this time thing, work from a schedule. Anything that you do not schedule will probably not be done. We say, read your goals over 3 times a day. Most people won't do it. But if you say, read your goals at 7 a.m., at 12 noon, and at 7 p.m., that makes a difference. Because once you put time on it now, you have converged your power. You have made a decision. You know, time is God's gift to us. What we do with the time is our gift to God. And so when we live our life according to the time question, what is the best use of my time right now when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose, and then act accordingly, you'll get the results you desire in your life. Step 5, imagine new habits. Create new habits. You know, our habits, in the beginning, we create the habits, but in the end, the habits create us. Can you imagine what your life would be if you were always on time? If you were always prepared? If every opportunity that came your way, you'd be ready to jump on it? They say it's better to be prepared for an opportunity that does not come than be unprepared for one that does come. And so this idea of creating new habits is awesome. As a personal trainer, if you create the habit of doing one more push-up every day, as one who's on the path of studying and enlightenment, commit to read a certain number of pages every day. Once you get into the habit of things, your life transforms. The habit of writing out your plan the night before and the list of things to do the night before, awesome power. So when you imagine new habits, do new things. The interesting thing about a habit is you must do something. You can't talk about changing a habit. You have to do something. You say, well, I'm going to always be early. Doesn't mean a hill of beans. But now when you are early, when you take the steps to be there early and prepared, that's a habit. Get into the habit of maintaining your curiosity. Get into the habit of completion. That whatever you set out to do, you finish it. Get into the habit of excellence. That whatever you do it to your very, very best. I was interviewing a young man the other day, and he was saying how, you know, he was enumerating some of his things that he felt were shortcomings. But he was saying he had taken a test for a particular job 6 times and failed. And at that point, he was ready to throw the towel in. But somebody who'd been watching him on his progress, on his journey, saw that he was committed to excellence. That maybe he didn't come with all the tools and all the things that other people had, but he was committed to getting it, to building it, to growing it. They told him to take it one more time, and the rest is history. Focus on those wow things. You know, as people get older, folks start thinking about, man, you know, the end of the line and all that. As a child, you're always curious. You're always like, there's always a wow thing. So this day, write down the things that you go wow about. When you have those things that you go wow about, that creates an energy that helps you manifest them in your life. Step number 6. Imagine new relationships. Oh, boy. You see, when you imagine new relationships, that changes the game, because one of the success principles that takes you from where you are to where you want to be is the mastermind principle. And the mastermind principle says 2 or more gathered on one accord, I am among them. And that increases and leverages your personal power through the power of others. But it works in the negative also. You surround yourself with the wrong people, you'll never get anywhere. They say birds of a feather flock together. That's true. And so build relationships. You know, there are 2 kinds of relationships. There are from relationships and there are to relationships. From relationships are like, I'm unhappy, I'm getting out of here. People can be in an abusive relationship or a relationship of dependence, and all their energy is to get out of there. Many times you have to have a from relationship before you can have a to relationship. A to relationship is, I want to be there. I want to see that. I want to experience this. And so start to look at the people around you. If they do not honor you and lift you up, that's a clue. If they're not excited about seeing you and think about your needs and your desires, that's a clue. If there are people around you have to make excuses for, oh, he's not that bad, she's not that way, that's a clue. There are people who bring a lot of baggage. You know, baggage is like an anchor. You have a boat. There's a ship in Wilmington now. It's called the Skyfall, based on that James Bond movie. And it's almost 300 feet long. This is a private yacht. But guess what? You drop the anchor and that boat is not going anywhere. So when you have people who have a lot of baggage, it's like they have an anchor. And no matter what you do, no matter how you interact, they're not going anywhere. So imagine new relationships. And remember this, when you're in a relationship that does not enhance who you are, the very existence of that relationship can be blocking the way from the relationship that's good for you. The law of the vacuum is so powerful. If you get rid of what you do not want, you're in a position to attract what you do want. If you get rid of what's not good for you, you can attract what is good for you. And then finally, number 7 is to recognize that this is an evolutionary process, to keep going and growing, that whatever happens in our lives is an evolutionary process, that we're going to have wins and lessons. Everything's not going to always work out. But if you lose, if it does not work out to your expectations, then look at the lesson that you've learned. This idea of growing and going means that you never get to that point where you say, I know enough. I've done enough. You look at the giant sequoia tree, 2,000 years old, and it's so big. And guess what? It'll keep growing. And so this idea of going and growing says that you have a capacity to change your condition through your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, and your relationships. You simply have to, as the scripture says, choose this day whom you will serve. So this idea of reimagining your life is really, how do you get out of the box? By thinking out of the box, and you use your power of imagination to transform your life from what it is to what it can be. Let us recap. Step 1, think a new thought. Think possibility thoughts instead of limitation thoughts. Step 2, feel new feelings. Focus on your passions and the things that make you feel good and empower you to be better. Step 3, imagine new goals. Get away from the limitations of your present situation to the possibilities for your future. Step 4, commit to a timeline. Everything we do is on the river of time. Use time, become a time master so that time works for you. Step 5, imagine new habits. Habits that support your goals, your vision, and your purpose. Step 6, imagine new relationships that uplift you, that make you feel good about yourself, that give you the power to leverage your impact through the mastermind principle. And step 7, keep going and growing, to realize that there will always be ups and downs. There'll be things happening, that every experience is either a victory or a lesson. And that as you go more, you get better. You go further. It's like climbing a mountain. And each time you get to the top of one mountain, one of the most profound things that happens is that you see that there's another mountain, that you couldn't see that other mountain before. Each time you build your consciousness, you become greater aware in a greater manner. So when you can see more, you can be more. So when we can do these things, when we can follow these 7 steps to reimagine our lives exactly the way we want it to be, nothing is impossible. You can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. Thank you so much for being with us today. This is an important day and an important time in your life. Time to take control, become the master of your ship. I really implore you and recommend that you go to our website, herbertharris.com, and get that success toolbox. If there's one thing that can transform your life, that success toolbox. All the reports we get say that you have everything you need in the toolbox to get anything you want. That's herbertharris.com to get your success toolbox and see some of the other good things we have going there. So those on Instagram and Facebook, thanks for being with us today. Please share this message with at least 3 other people. Write your comments and share how it's impacted you and how you intend to use it to transform your life from what it is to exactly what you want it to be. Always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is.